Tonight with new details about a head-on collision that sent 4 people to the hospital earlier this week in Corpus Christi. One of the passengers, sadly, a 1-year-old girl, has died. It's tonight's top story. It happened Tuesday night at the intersection of Staples and Baldwin, where police say a 19-year-old driver in a truck hit another car with 4 people inside after failing to yield the right-of-way. All 4 people in that car were sent to the hospital, including 26-year-old Domingo Rivera, who later died. 1-year-old Serena Nava was also in that vehicle and was in critical condition. Investigators tell us tonight she died last night. Meanwhile, a 28-year-old woman who was driving in that other vehicle remains in the hospital along with a boy. Police are now saying the 28-year-old woman will be charged with driving while intoxicated with a child. The 19-year-old driver who failed to yield the right-of-way has been cited for that crash, but no word yet on any other charges he may face.